Video games are one of the world's greatest modern pastimes. From the classic Pac-Man, Tetris and Space Invaders, to the latest PC, Xbox, Wii and PlayStation. Over the years, demand for video games has rapidly increased, especially among youths. As with any media, video games has the potential to be rather destructive. Over the past few weeks, we have researched the impacts of video games to find out if video games do more harm than good to the youths of our country and the rest of the world. The Thomas Deacon Academy is one of Peterborough's super schools. This is where we conducted our research. From our survey we gathered that females play video games just as much as males. We also found that a large majority of people play video games every day, with most of them playing video games for up to 2 hours. With so many people playing video games, surely you can't afford to have that many negative impacts. Let's take a look and see what they are. On August 16, 2011, a 15-year-old boy was sentenced to prison after stabbing his grandmother and great-grandmother with a 36-inch blade in a fight over a video game. However, this was not his first encounter with the authorities, so this might have just been a catalyst for what happened. Chris Staniforth from Sheffield died at a mere 20 years old after he spent all night playing video games on his Xbox 360 and a blood clot formed in his leg, which moved to his lungs and he collapsed. The Onion News Network thinks that video games are really not preparing our kids at all for the zombie apocalypse. Their reasoning is that when a 6-foot zombie comes at you, you'll not be able to kill it by pressing a few buttons. We need real survival skills. Future technology may also have a problem too. A tech raider describes 3D technology has the potential to cause disorientation, headaches, sickness, and in extreme cases, loss of consciousness. These can be found too in current screen technologies, which is why you shouldn't play video games for hours without a break. Miss Cooner, a psychology teacher from the Thomas Dean Academy, says that the severe problems only affect a small number of the population, and those are people with more addictive personalities anyway. She also says it only becomes a problem when it hinders other regular daily activities, and ergo, she thinks it is important to have age restrictions, and for parents to regulate usage. Now it's over to the interviewees to see what their opinion of this issue is.
Yeah, no idea.
Yeah, not really, no.
It used to be quite often, but now it's about 2 hours a week.
Well, depending on how much homework and stuff I've got daily, pretty much.
When I have nothing to do, which is all the time, so quite a lot.
It depends. Well, I mean, sometimes, I've done homework not homework. I've done games instead of homework a numerous amount of times, but not to a large extent.
Oh yeah, definitely. If I didn't have like Skyrim to play, I would probably like be done in all my coursework subjects.
Yeah.
Yes. Like when you play Super Mario Brothers too long and you bitch it.
Oh, when I play the Wii.
Sometimes we get cramp in my buttocks. Don't know if that's just me, but alright, yeah.
No. They enhance my social life, so I can talk to people for free.
Yeah.
Over Xbox Live. Which is better really. You can shoot them as well.
No. You can have friends on video games. You can, quite a few of my friends play on them, so I can speak to them on that.
No.
It depends on the game. Like, a 3+ game wouldn't be, but an 18 game would.
Depends what games. But yeah.
Yeah, definitely, yeah.
They don't help with school, but they boost your creativity because it can help you with things.
Well, it depends on the type of video game, but she quite often uses video games for learning. So she'll go onto CBBS or Nick Jr. websites, and she's got games like Lego Star Wars, and also some learning games where she learns to spell or do her numbers or numeracy. So I find them quite useful for that.
I know that it can take a lot of time to do things, so I think the time that people spend on games, for example, if you built a website, you could do a pretty good website in the sort of time that it takes to play a game and get to a certain level. But yeah, I think it does use a lot of time, and I mean, it is good for general skills, but it can be very addictive, and also it can take up a lot of time, a lot of your time.
Playing online, you need a good mic. So Fabian doesn't have a good mic. Never
I
hear
do
it.
know actually.
Do you?
Yeah, it's just a really bad connection.
Oh, connection.
I think they can be positive in bringing people together. There's that fold it game on the internet which unlocks proteins. That's an advantage. That's like scientific breakthrough in video game campaign.
I think some people do take the games as being a real event, which, you know, I think it's a bit of a false sense of a world that you can actually get sucked into this imaginary world that is a false kind of reality. And I think people can get distracted from reality. So yeah, I think that is a problem. I do.
Naturally, there are many benefits of video gaming as well. The Evergreen School in America visited Valve's game company as part of a spatial reasoning project and used its renowned game Portal to teach its children teamwork, mathematical principles, and problem-solving skills. One helper commented, "You teach them the basic principles and they're just off like a rocket. They learn from this, and then just start making what they want. It's really exciting." Researchers at Toronto Hospital found that stroke patients who play video games are 5 times more likely to improve their arm motor functions than those who use standard therapies alone. It is a promising, affordable, and effective alternative to promote recovery, one doctor said. As far back as the 90s, video games have been used specifically for educational purposes. One example being Sonic Schoolhouse, published by Sega, where kids play minigames and learn about numeracy, literacy, and nature. Our psychology expert has identified that video games should not stand in the way of social interaction or day-to-day activities when used in moderation. She recalls a study conducted some time ago where they tested the spatial memory of boys and girls in specific tasks and found that boys were stronger in the task. One conclusion was that it could be due to the link between how much more time boys tend to spend on video games in comparison. A study into teenagers and video games found that video games can even help improve social interaction and are far from bad for it. 76% of people play games with others, and 65% of gaming teens play with people in the same room. The average teen plays all kinds of different games, so the stereotype that gaming is completely solitary, violent, and antisocial just doesn't hold up. And that's the end of the documentary. It's hard to say whether or not video games are used friends or foe, but from our research, it only seems to be coincidental when someone gets badly impacted by it. In the end, whether or not you think video games are good for you, it's up to you. Thank you and goodbye.